Is God pruning you? Or are you in the process of being cut off because, get this, you've chosen no longer to remain in the vine. You've chosen no longer to be connected. You've chosen, you're saying, I'll call you my king, but I'm not going to bow to you. I'll claim to be a Christian, I'll show up to church, but I am not going to do what you say. Then listen to me. You ought to be dearly concerned. You ought to be deeply concerned. And if somebody told you that you can pray a prayer and walk on an aisle and get dunked and fill out a card and join a church and show up every now and then and give money and read a little bit of Bible and you're good with Jesus, they didn't tell you the whole truth. All those things are good, but all those things ought to be happening from a heart that says, Jesus, you are my king and I will follow you. Isn't that right? Isn't that the gospel message, y'all? It's time for us to drop back and drop kick this cultural message of, it's all about what Jesus can do for you. And if you'll just name it and claim it, and you'll just whatever, and you don't even have to obey him. Baloney. That's that Greek word we use often here. It's about 10 years ago, Steve was the pastor here, and I was teaching along with him. And when we covered this about 10 years ago, I had this bright idea, and the bright idea was, let's bring in a little plant. I think I came and got a little plant from you, Glenn. A couple little plants, a couple little trees that were in a potted trees. And so we brought these, and they were up around this area. And at this point in both services, and it was great, and 8:30 it worked fine, 11 o'clock, a little different. Because when we used this, we broke that branch off, and then I said, it's no problem. I just stuck it back in the dirt, right? We're good now. And everybody goes, no, you're not good, because what's going to happen in a couple days? It's going to die because it's really no longer connected, in that case, to the root. That's the picture we were using, right? And that was fine and all, except the second service, when I shoved that thing back into the thing, a frog jumped out. And started, I think at that point, we had 2 rows in the center, and it started under the chairs. Can you imagine it coming towards you, Miss Mary? That's what happened. People were doing this number, right? And Jimmy Durst is deathly afraid of frogs, and he was over there, and he screamed like a little girl, and he ran our way across. And then Josh Smith, who is now our missionary in Cambodia, by the way, this is really cool. Council decided, because we've got the money to do it, because you've been giving, check this out. We as a church are giving them $5,000 to say, let's further the gospel message so they can get Bibles and Bible tracts and help people get involved in work and share the gospel. Isn't that cool? You're a part of that. That's spiritual fruit. Isn't that awesome? So Josh, who I would have never thought would have been a missionary to Cambodia, he's like 10, and he's like, I got this, and he's going underneath the chairs. Now, this is happening. People are popping up, it's like the squirrel in church kind of thing, and he gets it. I got it, right? And that was all super funny. But what's not super funny is if you're one of the people that Jesus talks about, that one day will be eternally cut off. Because just like that tree, just within a day or two, that part we stuck back into that dirt, guess what? It withered and it died, and it was no good to be used for anything. How can you tell? If you're connected to the King, it's very simple. Connected people are changed people. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Listen to this last word. Soon what's done in this life will pass. Only what's done for Christ will last. Spiritual fruit that remains will be people that God's allowed you and me to be a part of impacting. May we continue in that process.